Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, good afternoon. Samiksha, good
Yes, ma'am.
afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Can we start, ma'am? Before that, with your due permission, can I start the recording of this meeting?
Yes, surely. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Yeah. Can we start the session, ma'am?
Yes. I'll just share my screen or okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to be here, and I would like to take this opportunity before I begin my session to thank Professor Principal Preeta Malia ma'am of Shree Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, and also Miss Margina Sheikh, convener of Life Skills, and Miss Samiksha Vengurlekar, who has been coordinating with me, Assistant Professor, Department of English and Communication. And also, I'm very happy to be amidst the students of BCom and BBA for this session on multicultural literacy. I'll share my screen now.
Sonal, ma'am. Yeah, Sonal,
Yes.
ma'am. Before that, we have an introduction of you. So I would request the student, Sia Gosavi, to introduce our resource person for today's session.
Okay. Shall I
Yes.
share my screen? Start sharing my
Yes.
screen in the meanwhile?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Vaishnavi, you can start. Vaishnavi, you can start.
Good afternoon to one and all. I'm Ms. Vaishnavi Vendekar, your host for today's session on multicultural literacy, organized by the Life Skill Committee in association with the Department of English. To begin with, let me request Ms. Samiksha Vengurlekar, Assistant Professor in English, to welcome the gathering.
Yes, thank you, Vaishnavi. I extend a very warm welcome, firstly, to our resource person for today's session on multicultural literacy, Dr. Sonal Thakkar. I also welcome our students who have gathered here in a large number. Thank you for your participation, students. As we all know that our country is a melting pot of different cultures and diversities. So it is important for all of us to acknowledge these differences and also to live in harmony. So this session aims at doing that. Okay. So I request the compare to take over.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am. A few instructions to the participants. Kindly put off the video and keep your mics muted for a smooth flow of this session. There will be a question answer round towards the end, so participants are requested to write the questions in the chat box for the discussion during question and answer session. I call upon Ms. Sia Gosavi, student of F5 BCom, to introduce the resource person of today's session.
I'm Miss Sia Gosavi. Take pleasure to introduce our resource person for today, Dr. Sonal Thakkar. Dr. Thakkar is an associate professor and head of the Department of Sociology at MES College, Zuarinagar, having a rich work experience of 26 years. Dr. Thakkar is known as a compassionate teacher and a true feminist who loves the Indian culture and traditions. Ma'am is also a member of prestigious professional bodies, namely All Indian Sociological Society, Karnataka Sociological Association, Bangalore Sociology Association. Due to her expertise in a subject, she plays a vital role in various academic bodies such as Board of Studies in the subject of Sociology and Syllabus Drafting Committee for MA Undergraduate CBCS. Dr. Thakkar is nominated as AIC expert on the Affiliation Inquiry Committee in the subject of sociology by Goa University, and also as a subject expert and member of DRC for PhD students in the Department of Sociology, Goa University. Her inclination towards research has helped her publish 7 research papers and present 25 research papers at national and international seminars and conferences. Dr. Sona Thakkar was awarded the Best Research Paper Award at the 12th Karnataka Sociology Conference at Hampi in the year 2018. It is an honor to have you with us today, ma'am. It's my humble request to take over the session.
Okay, thank you for the generous introduction. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am, we can see your screen.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, now this topic is very fascinating, multicultural literacy. This session is divided into why we need to study multicultural literacy, meaning of culture, related concepts and components. Then what is ethnocentrism, which is a barrier to multiculturalism? How multicultural literacy can be incorporated. Then we shall look at the concepts of cultural relativism, cultural sensitivity, diversity, mutual respect. Then we shall touch upon social inclusion as the need of the hour, social justice, pluralism, and global values. Now then, why we need to study multicultural literacy? We live in a world which is radically different from the previous generations, and technology has been a very powerful tool to bring about this transformation. With globalization, liberalization, and privatization, there is a movement of the workforce. And in any organization, if you see, it is no longer a homogeneous group. The manpower is from different regions and countries. So there is an amalgamation of different cultures. We also note diversity in the field of education. Earlier, we wouldn't have foreign students coming, neither did Indians go overseas. Okay, so now it is happening. Neighborhood community also, no longer we are living in villages where it's people from one caste, one community living in one particular area. And also at the workplace, there is diversity. So before we look at what is multicultural literacy, let us see what is the meaning of culture. Now, whenever we are studying society, it immediately leads us to the study of its culture. Like you all know, India is so very diverse. Then what about the world? There are so many religions, so many cultures, the way of life, upbringing of people, their socialization is so different. So we see that culture is a unique possession of man. The lower animals do not have culture. It is only man who is civilized, and it is considered as a social heritage of man. The saying man is a social being can be redefined as man is a cultural being. Now, what are the features of culture? Culture is learned. That is, we are just born as biological beings, but when we are born, there is training given to us through socialization, through our parents. Then it is later on when we are little big, it's the peers, the school, okay, the mass media. So we are learning culture, and culture is social. It cannot exist in isolation, that we can celebrate something only with someone else. It cannot be an individual thing, and culture varies from each society to other. And also, like sometimes you have a public holiday in one state, like in Tamil Nadu, Pongal will be a holiday, whereas in Goa, you will have the SFX feast, St. Francis Xavier, which will be a public holiday. Okay, so how culture varies. Then culture is shared. Okay, we cannot say it's my unique possession. It will be shared with everyone, and it is gratifying. That is, it will give us immense security, comfort to celebrate festivals, harmony, cooperate with others. Then culture is transmissive. That is, it's transmitted from one generation to the next. And how is this transmission done? Language. Okay, the language that is spoken at home, the mother tongue, then in your surrounding. Okay, like in Goa, we will have the Konkani language. Then with your friends, maybe you speak a mixture of Hindi and sometimes Marathi, English. So culture is the vessel. Language is the vessel through which culture will be transmitted. Culture is also continuous. It is and cumulative. By this, what do we mean? That it will be something of the past, the present, and also future things we adapt, and it will be a continuous process. So that makes culture very dynamic and adaptive. Okay. Now, culture is a handiwork of man. culture is different from the natural resources like the river, the seas, okay, the trees and so forth. So culture is a creation of man. We have divided culture into two, that is non-material culture and material culture. Again, non-material culture is divided into thinking, our ideas, our ideologies, okay? And then the next, because we think, we believe something, we start doing them. So what is that? The structural institutions. In that we start celebrating culture. Then culture also, there is material culture. What is material culture? Technological products. Anything that man has created, which can be touched, which can be felt, which can be used, okay? It's creation of members of the society that they use and they make share. This makes our life very comfortable. The spectacles that I'm wearing, okay? The clothes that I'm wearing, it didn't come naturally. It is a creation of mankind to fulfill certain needs, okay? Also buildings, monuments, the seven wonders of the world, furniture, automobiles, dams, bridges enable me to go from one place to another. The river is not a barrier, the sea is not a barrier, okay? This, in short, it is referred to as civilization. It's a creation of mankind and it makes our life comfortable. Then the components of non-material culture are further subdivided. That is the ideologies, the values and the beliefs. Institutions, that is the doing part. See, the first is ideologies is the thinking part, the belief. Okay, we think and then we act. Here, I'm not referring to reflex action. Like if somebody comes close to you, you will close your eyes because you fear the person is going to harm you. Okay, so that is reflex. But otherwise, by and large, we think and then we act. Okay, it is based on our values, our beliefs and so forth. Then this is the doing part. Institutions are the structural components of society. We will look at them in detail, which will be the customs, mores, conventions, language and dialect. Okay, food habits, dress, everything is influenced by culture. Okay. Now, what are ideologies? Ideas. Every society has a set of ideologies. What will it include? Our knowledge. Okay. Why we will read poems from Shakespeare or lyrics by Gulzar and so forth. Okay. Knowledge. It is beliefs, values of all varieties, moral, historical. Okay, our freedom struggle is different from the American Revolution or the Chinese Revolution or the Iranian Revolution. Okay, then our sociological, technological, scientific and philosophical ideas will be different. There is a moral obligation to believe and uphold the ideas. Okay, because they are considered right, good or proper in that society. The statement that truth shall prevail, it is self-evident. We don't need an explanation for that. Okay, so these are ideas. What are values? Values are shared beliefs about what is good and desirable, towards which all humans should strive. Values will be general guidelines like truthfulness, honesty, patriotism, polite behavior. Okay, so value is a belief, something is good and I want to achieve it and it is very desirable that I have certain values. Then what are beliefs? Beliefs are more personal in nature. Okay, beliefs are neither true nor false. If somebody wants to wear a taviz in his neck, okay, wants to wear a black thread with a taviz, let him do it. If somebody wants to keep some God's picture under his pillow when eve of examination, let him do it. That is his personal belief. Okay, yeah. So beliefs are neither true nor they are false. And as long as these beliefs don't harm anyone, it is perfectly all right. Okay, yeah. Then institutions. The concept of institution implies some sort of social control, because folkways and all in the village, they helped. Okay, people would be very afraid what the panchayat would say, what the village elders would say. Okay, So that control was there. Now I don't mean any of personal matters, but by and large. Okay, so institutions are structural components. They exist to fulfill certain needs of mankind. Okay, so examples are family, schools, law, courts, etc. Now look at family. Okay, why family has come as an institution? Yes, marriage and all is recent. Earlier marriages did not take place. Man was just wandering, he had multiple partners and so forth. Okay, so uh, marriage is an institution basically devised by man for regulation of sexual relations and procreation of children. Okay, then family also for providing love, care, affection. Then what about the religious institutions? Religious institutions like temples, churches, mosques, they take care of the fear of mankind. His psychological needs are taken care of and so forth. Then we have political institutions. Okay, why they are there, why we need governments, why we need parliament, then why do we need the legal system? Because man, his hopes, desires, fears are so much, and even political will be to control his he needs to be governed. Okay, so he will need a ruler, because otherwise things go very haywire. Okay, there is chaos. Then why do we need police? Because sometimes there is violence, people given to their base instincts and so forth. Okay, so they exist to fulfill certain needs. What are norms? Norms will be specific guidelines. They are different from values. These are more strict and they direct your conduct or behavior in a given social situation. So what will be the norms? They will be folkways, mores, conventions. So they will tell you what is appropriate and what is acceptable. Okay, yeah. Now look at folkways. The term folkways was given by William Graham Sumner. Okay, so William Graham Sumner, what he said, that folkways are related to, see, break up this word folk plus ways. It's related to dress. Okay, the kind of dress that you're wearing, polite behavior, etiquettes, customs, and so on. Like, see, in the villages, sometimes if you go to a Rajasthani village, you will have the girls wearing the mirror type of short blouses. Then you'll have them wearing flare skirts. The men will be wearing a turban, different, which is different from the Sikhs. The Sardarjis have a different type of a turban. Okay, so this is dress depending on your culture. Now, when you compare that with Goa, there will be girls wearing frocks, dresses. Okay, they will be wearing strapped in during church and all that. So that is the culture of the place. But then in modern day, you see in schools, schools there are uniforms. In colleges, you see they will have a particular type of a dress. And if somebody has come from another state or another place, they will sometimes feel that they are a misfit if they are not wearing what others are doing. Okay, but folkways now are important only in certain social situations. Like Gujaratis, when they are going for Navratri, they will be wearing the mirror kind of skirts, the big ghagra. Then they will have the typical blouse with mirror work and that half odni, what you call. Okay, so that will be appropriate as per the social situation. Okay, so that is then even etiquettes, how to behave. Like North Indians, they will speak something like, they will refer to the elders as Didi. Okay, you see people coming from the Navy schools, Kendriya Vidyalaya, they are referring in a different way. Okay, then you will have somebody saying aap, and here we will be speaking tu. So it is etiquettes of the place. Then the customs. Okay, we are looking at that in detail. So these are folkways, are informal norms. Suppose a Rajasthani man, okay, he has just come from America and he goes for a function in somebody's house where a wedding has taken place. So he may not wear the turban. So nothing, people will just look down. You went abroad and you forgot our culture, our folkways. Okay, so if you are violating, you are breaking these customs, there are no serious consequences. Only people frown upon you. Okay, they kind of pass comments, they gossip and all, but no serious consequences. Okay, whereas norms, if you violate, there are serious consequences. Then what are customs? Customs are practices that are repeated over the generations. Okay, customary to keep Ganpati idle. Yes, and once they begin, unless they have taken a vow, they will keep for ever. Okay, unless somebody said for 1 year I'm keeping, or for 3 years or 5 years, somebody's vow is there. Okay, so customs are repeated because they are followed, because they have been customarily followed in the past. Okay, certain rituals that we will do and all because grandmother used to do. Okay, then what are mores? See, this is written as mores, but the pronunciation is mores. Okay, mores are related to a particular culture. They are not universal. They are strongly held norms, rules with moral, ethical connotations, and they may not be violated without serious consequences. So, if they are violated, there are serious consequences. Like example is pork eating. Okay, the flesh of pig. It is a strong prohibition for people from the Islam faith. Then the beef eating is a strong prohibition for people from the Hindu faith. This doesn't mean that people from such faith do not eat, but it is condemned, it is looked down upon. Okay, so mores will involve strong ideas of right and wrong, but only culture specific. Okay, then even Sardarjis, the Sikhs, who wear that turban, they are not Punjabis, they believe in Guru Nanak. They also, you will never find them smoking, at least not in a public place. You will not find them smoking. Okay, yeah, because it's a moray of their community, that they are not supposed to smoke. So do you understand norms, mores, customs? Okay, then conventions. Conventionally something is done, that it has been done over the years. Here there is a common agreement about a customary practice. So what customs hai, you have to follow them. Now one example I could give you is, you have to be polite to each other at a public event. Imagine you go for a marriage, Catholic, and you are at the church. Okay, the immediate person standing next to you, suddenly you discover when the prayer service is going on, is a person you dislike and you have had immense fights with him. Okay, so despite having personal differences, it is a convention to be polite at public gatherings. Okay, like see now, even the elections just got over. Elections got over, and the rival party, somebody is defeated, somebody has won, but then when they meet somewhere, okay, at a public place or restaurant, or where there is some felicitation and then you have to go for it, they will be polite with each other. Okay, at least they will not show their differences. Okay, then the next is culture and its related concepts. Some other concepts I will tell you. Cultural universals, cultural lag, culture shock, subculture, counterculture, cultural baggage, ethnocentrism, cultural barrier. Okay, then we look at how we have to overcome all these for multicultural literacy. Okay, so cultural universals, this concept was given by George Murdoch. He is an anthropologist. See, anthropologists, they study the culture of the primitive people. So he had observed that throughout history, human beings, they have made dramatic cultural advancements. We are different. An African is different from a Chinese, from an Indian or a Sri Lankan, but we have made lot of cultural advancement. So how we have met our basic human needs? By developing cultural universals, something that exists everywhere. Okay, like see, dowry system may not exist in the Western cultures. Okay, dislike for a girl child may not exist in other cultures. Some it is existing. So cultural universals means all the societies have that. One is language, speech. Okay, whether you're speaking Russian, whether you're speaking German, you're speaking Hindi, or you're speaking Tamil. Okay, we are trying to communicate with someone through speech, and that is universal. Okay, then cooking of food. Yes, when earlier cooking was not there, people used to eat a little raw, then they used to feed on berries and soft roots and something like that. But then cooking started happening when fire was discovered. So this also, by and large, some societies advanced faster and some took longer. Then rearing, upbringing of children. Okay, like see in India, or maybe even in some other countries, when babies are born and after a few days they start giving oil massage to the baby. This is not done in Europe, it's not done in America, unless people from here have gone over there. Okay, so rearing of babies is different. Okay, but certain methods like wrapping the child in a particular type of a cloth, maybe putting lotion, we are using oil, then giving them training of the culture, that will be all different, yet it will happen. Upbringing of children, socialization. Then mythology. Here in India we have Ram, then we have this Sita, and so many of these things. Mythology is there. Then abroad you will have that that snowman is there, yeti is there. Okay, so religion also, because I told you in the previous slide that I was explaining that religion is very necessary, because man has got hopes, fears, desires. Okay, so he fears, and that's the reason God was created. Okay, so even when religion is a part of culture. So these cultural universals are found, practices found in every known culture. Okay. And what is cultural lag? Okay, what is cultural lag? Yes, tell me, what is cultural lag? Cultural lag, lagging means to stay behind. It will develop when material changes take place very fast. Okay, so what happens when material change is so rapid that people cannot cope up with it, they cannot accept it. Okay, so they cannot they feel lost out because they are not using it. Like earlier days, no, people used to heat water outside their homes for bath purpose. Okay, and firewood was used, and their houses were also only the ground floor, they didn't have buildings and so forth. Much later the buildings came, or the geyser came. Okay, where hot water, you just put on a switch and hot water would come. But then you will find the youngsters will adapt, okay, to put on the switch, and after some time hot water will come. They need not do it in the traditional way, where one huge earthen pot and then you put lot of coconut leaves and some other waste and coal and you make hot water, which is a long process. Okay, so the older generation do not want to adapt to technology. Like I remember we had a maid in our old house where she would not touch the telephone. Okay, her relatives would call from very far off places, but what she used to say, to touch the telephone, she used to say, I will get a shock. She associated the wires with electricity. I am not touching. Okay. Then another thing would be when television came somewhere in 1982 in Goa, probably in India a little earlier, but in Goa, I remember it was 82, and we had a black and white TV. Then the very popular actress of that time, was Hema Malini. I don't know whether your generation knows. Okay, a very popular actress. She was dancing to the Dream Girl song. Okay, so this same helper of our house, when she saw Hema Malini dancing, and we had the box type of a TV, so she would go behind the TV and she would say, Hema Malini, bhairyo, come outside, I want to see you. Okay, so they don't understand that there is no Hema Malini coming in everybody's drawing room. It is just the image, okay, through satellite, and then that's where it is transmitted. Okay, do you all follow me? Then that is cultural lag, that we are not adapting to modern gadgets. We are suspicious of them. Another could be during this COVID time, that we had to adapt to this online classes, and so forth, and how difficult it got. But now we have become quite technology savvy. Okay. Then what is culture shock? Culture shock. You get shock looking at cultural habits of people who are not like yours. Okay. If you go to live or visit another country which is very different from your own, so you may see in America dating is allowed and birth control pills. You will have very young girls in their bag, there will be birth control pills, and this is very common. Then the same when Westerners came to India a few decades ago, when they saw that in India the parents choose life partner, we cannot choose on our own. So of course now the scene is changing so much, they would get shocked, culture shock, that your parents search for a proposal for you. And when they see cattle on the street, they see cows, they see bulls, then they see cow dung in the middle of the road. Okay, so they get very shocked and they start taking pictures because it is a culture shock for them. Then Arabs, when they see women in Western countries, okay, they see them with few clothes. Okay, that's the way they are. And the Arabs get very scandalized. They get shocked. Same Westerners, okay, the women from America, maybe Germany, when they see women from Saudi Arabia completely clothed, wearing long clothes, black, okay, so they will feel that these women are kind of suppressed, and it's a kind of a shock for them to see such thing. They cannot able to accept that this is the culture. Okay, so this is culture shock. Then what is a subculture? People of high class have a different lifestyle than others. Okay, culture is universal, but again there is subculture. So within a larger group, you will have a smaller group. Their beliefs, interests, they are different. They are at variance with those of the larger culture. I can give you examples. In the 1980s, no, we had the hippie culture. Okay, those Europeans who would come from other countries and stay here, they would have matted hair, very scanty clothes, they would smoke grass. Okay, so that was one subculture. Their ideas, lifestyle is different from the others. Then anti-gun groups. You all know in America, gun carrying is allowed, and you will have even student shooting his teacher if the teacher has scolded him. Okay, so anti-gun groups, because there is no law preventing anyone from carrying a gun. Then there are environmental activists like no plastic and use only biodegradable stuff, or so forth. Then those who are drug users, they have a subculture, okay, little deviant from the mainstream. Then what is counterculture? A culture whose values and norms of behavior, they differ substantially. Counter means opposition. Sub is fine, but counter will imply challenging. So it is diametrically opposed to mainstream cultural mores. So there will be lifestyle of people, especially the young, okay, waking up at 11 and 12 in the morning, sleeping at 2 and 3 in the morning, late night, and it's always morning, and they reject or oppose the dominant values of society. So these could be even counterculture, could be the LGBT, that is the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and so forth. Okay, then the bohemian lifestyle, hippie culture. So once they were considered to be counterculture, but now they are not. But counterculture, no, we could include where they are very radical, like Fulan Devi, the dacoits, in Chambal Valley, Madhya Pradesh, that side. Then you had even Virappan, the sandalwood smuggler. His was a counterculture, okay, and it was punished by law, and he was shot dead actually. Then the next is, see, how we are a sum total of our cultures, our norms, values, customs, okay, from the social environment, the social milieu, and it gives us a sense of identity, and we want to cling to it. Otherwise, we feel we are not being loyal to our culture. Okay, so what will the term cultural baggage? Can you put culture in the bag? But here it refers to the tendency for one's culture to pervade, that is, go over your thinking, your speech, and behavior, and you are not aware of it. Okay, you want to cling tightly onto it. So our values, then what biases we have with people, our communication styles, okay, they turn up as cultural baggage. So we think it is not there. We went to America, we became very smart and modern and so forth, but very many of us, we are keeping all our ideas which are rigid, which do not resonate with the newer values, and we keep them, okay, in one corner, neatly folded, okay. And then this comes out, especially when a man who's also gone overseas and his wife is also working, but then he will expect that the cooking should be done by the woman, and the gender roles traditional are even expected when you have gone in a different social setting. That's a cultural baggage that you are carrying, okay. This is one of the illustration. Then ethnocentrism, see, break up this word, ethnocentrism. It's a point of view that our way of life is the best. We are superior and preferred to all others. This concept given by William Graham Sumner in his book Folkways, as we just saw in the previous slide, it is a view that our group, our community, our language, our food habit, it is the center, and all others are ranked with reference to it. So our culture is the yardstick, and we say this is good, this is bad, okay, this is okay type of culture. Then we criticize and we mock, we make fun. So habit of each group taking for granted the superiority of its culture. So here we have in Goa calling people from other states as ghantis, a derogatory word, but we don't realize that how much the migrant labor force is important for our economy. Okay. Then even in example of Hitler, he had racial superiority. So he had killed 20 million Jews. Okay. So his ethnocentrism was that we are a superior race. Then Westerners, no, they consider themselves as progressive, superior race. And that was the reason why even we were colonized. So many African countries, India was colonized because of ethnocentrism, okay? That their way is superior and they are masters, we are slaves, okay? So this thing is a barrier. It's a cultural barrier. This is happening even now, but in a very hidden form, in a latent form, okay. So what happens, these cultural barriers will come wherein we close ourselves and we create misunderstandings caused by cultural differences between the sender and receiver, okay. So there is a kind of a mismatch. So what happens when these things happen, it causes outright conflict. And more than that, there is stress at the workplace when people of different cultures are put together. It could be within India, you have people from Kashmir, you have people from Tamil Nadu, you have people from Maharashtra, and so forth. Or it could be even having people from other nationalities, okay, like a Chinese and a Japanese and an American, or somebody from Dubai is there, Saudi Arabia is there. So now the workplace, it's a diverse workforce. Okay, even school, colleges, we have diversity. So this creates tension. Then body language is another where we are hostile. Sometimes we start speaking in our vernacular language. A group of 20 people are there. 5 of them start speaking in Konkani. The others do not follow. And there is suspicion. So there is misunderstanding and there is a lot of laughter. See, you're communicating. It is bad. It is right that you want to speak your language, but it is bad when the majority will not understand and they get suspicious, okay? Then even gestures can be a barrier to culture, okay? And how now we come to, I gave you a background of what is culture. Now coming to what is multicultural literacy can be, how this can be incorporated. It seeks to address issues pertaining to social justice. Just because somebody is different, I don't become an ethnocentric and I trouble that person, okay, either directly or indirectly. So we have to celebrate the social differences in the classroom as well as society. So this will be like implementing an inclusive and diverse approach to education where all student identities are valued and respected in the classroom. Okay, we do not mock, we do not make fun of somebody, we do not label them. Okay, so this concept was put forth by Hertz in 1988. He wanted to transform it into an inclusive as opposed to exclusive concept, measuring Eurocentric accounts. Like, see, our rhymes also, they would be Humpty Dumpty, Baba Baba, Black Sheep, and all that. Why not our regional? Okay, why not our cultural and historical knowledge? So it depends more on developing the means of measuring cross-cultural awareness. Okay, that different people from different social setting, they are different, and we have to address issues within today's societies. Okay, and also the Ministry of Education in the year 2013, they pointed out that culture goes very much deeper than typical understandings of ethnicity, race, or faith. It encompasses broad notions of similarity. Like I told you, cultural universals. We are same. We all need food. We all need shelter. We all need clothing. We need something to support us economically. We need job. So, and there are also differences. Okay, but basically we are one. And even in terms of religion, okay, they say that the prayers are same. Like we will pray for good health, then sometimes in the villages they are praying for good crop, and in the cities we are praying for a job or the business to do well. Okay, and so forth. So, or we are praying for health of the elders in our house, somebody is not well, or education of children, and so forth. Okay, so there are similarities and the differences are very superficial. Okay, so the key practices in the classroom for any teacher to teach multicultural literacy is teachers should not be colorblind. See, people from different races, their color is different. We tend to judge, we tend to label students or use negative connotations in relation to diverse backgrounds. So this is wrong. Okay, so we can avoid stereotypes. What is stereotypes? Wherein you are trying to highlight one quality, okay, and point to certain personality traits, and you think that these possess all people from this region are lazy, or you will say the people from this area, they are rude, or they are dirty. Okay, so this kind of labels we put. Then, so when you make such a statement about people with a kind of stereotype and put them in a blanket statement like that, that you have crossed the line and it is considered rude. Okay, this was said by David Livermore. He was the founder of the Cultural Intelligence Center, that you have to develop some kind of an empathy, compassion, and do not kind of stereotype anybody with labels which are very damaging. Okay, now what is cultural relativism? I have a few more slides. Cultural relativism, see, the concept relative means different in different situations. It will imply our refined attitude towards other people. From we judge people usually from our cultural traits as good or bad. So cultural relativism will be keeping everybody on the same plane. Okay, and then saying that what works for me need not work for somebody else. Okay, somebody is having an arranged marriage, you find it ridiculous, but then that's the way their upbringing is and that's what they want to do. Then even morality, like a few years ago now in Mangalore, a pub, no, it was stopped. The women there were beaten up. Why? Because they were drinking beer. So that is your imposing your morality. So cultural relativism will be that you accept that people's practices are different and you need not become a moral police and judge them. Okay, so this is more of a very biased view and you are not kind of against them. And what is cultural sensitivity? Here you become very sensitive, awareness, acceptance of cultures that aren't your own. You do not judge them. So it refers to a set of skills that allows you to understand and learn about people whose cultural backgrounds is not the same as yours. Okay, they are dressed, your mannerisms are so different. Okay, but you do not judge them. Now let's look at a few examples. Now, when do you call somebody by the first name or the second name? In America, they'll call you by the first name, and even they'll shorten it. Okay, but in places like Japan, if somebody is, you point index finger and tell him, hey, come here, he will feel very bad. Whereas in America, it is a general practice. So these variations are there, and you have to be sensitive if you are working with people from different places, that what is their culture, and vice versa, they should know. Like even in China, like if there is a funeral and a Chinese man is there with you, and or you're visiting him, we think that we have to take something, okay? And you take a box of kerchiefs, handkerchiefs. The Chinese man will feel very offended because kerchiefs are given only at the time of a funeral, okay? Then another example could be like, making fun of somebody's beliefs. Like in America, America is a land of migrants. There were people, who are from different nationalities and races. So at a cemetery, okay, when a Chinese man who was there for more than 40-50 years, and another white man, American man, was also there, both had come to pray at the cemetery. Okay, so the Chinese man, he had brought some food. Like even in India, we have this shrad, okay, mar, where we prepare certain food which was loved by the dead person, and we keep. Okay, Hinduism, we do not have the cemetery and all because the body is cremated. But other cultures, what they do, they keep it outside, okay, and they expect that the dead person's soul is satisfied if you're doing this ritual. So the Chinese man had placed some food, wine, and so forth. So one American man, he had come with flowers, and the cemeteries were close by. Okay, Catholics, both of them. So this American man, he's calling that Chinese man, when he finished his prayers, that, hey, when are your dead people going to come to eat this food? He's making fun and laughing. So the Chinese man, he's keeping quiet. He was kneeling down. He gets up. He says, my dead people, ancestors, will come to eat this food at the same time that your ancestors will come to smell those flowers. Okay, so see, it is a belief. What is the purpose of flowers? It's just a ritual that makes you happy. So the Chinese man is happy by placing food, and he is feeling satisfied that he has done something for his ancestors. That is his way of grieving. Okay, and for the American man, by placing flowers. Okay, so this was the reply given by the Chinese man. So that is cultural sensitivity. We do not make fun. Then here, what is the solution to this? Social inclusion. Yes, do not exclude people and so forth. Social justice. What will multicultural literacy mean? Embrace diversity, cultural sensitivity. Then there is pluralism, and we can do nothing about it. We are always going to be a mixed crowd. No longer that people are going to be of one race, one community, and set of beliefs which are very we have to accept others, mutual respect. That's the way we coexist. These are the basic global values. Okay, yeah, we no longer have this caste system and parda system and all that. We should have more of these. Okay, that is multicultural literacy. I have adapted this picture from Benetton from the 1980s. They are trying to have their ad campaigns by showing people from different races. That is the inclusion. Okay, race inclusion. Then social inclusion will emphasize diversity as well as pluralism. See the campus where people from different races are intermixing. Then workplace diversity. See the different people are there, where companies are open to hiring employees from all sorts of different backgrounds. Okay, regardless of race, religion and culture. That's why we have students who had gone to Ukraine, so many, huge in number. Then Australia they are going, then they're going to Canada. Okay, so if we are going to be treated like that, it will create racial tensions, and already it is happening. So that's the reason multicultural literacy is very significant. So how to manage a multicultural team? You have to overcome language and cultural barriers. See, if somebody is going to go to Russia, he will have to learn to speak the basic Russian language and also know the cultural habits of the people there. Okay, some people do not like their children to be touched, whereas in India, we will touch the child, we will kiss the child. Okay, then you have to consider the different communication styles. You have to be open to all cultural differences and organize a cultural training program. Okay, avoid stereotypes. I told you what is stereotype, and practice empathy, kindness, compassion. Now, how do we celebrate diversity? Celebrate different festivals at that's what we are doing in schools, colleges. Then there is a cultural dress show, like people from different regions wearing their dress and describing them. Host a multicultural day where different cuisines are there and so forth. Okay, then reject rigid gender roles. Their women are going to sew, they are going to mend, they are going to do the cooking, and they will wait on their husbands and so forth. Also tell stories of people from different ethnic, racial, and gender backgrounds to show that we are one. Okay, in conclusion, I would like to say campus cultural diversity, it will enrich the educational experience and benefits. It will benefit student success. Okay, so through these diverse classroom and social interactions between people from different places, the students will have the opportunity to learn from people with different backgrounds, okay, and upbringing. So this will lead to increased innovation and collaboration. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Vaishnavi, please continue. Vaishnavi.
Thank you, ma'am, for highlighting the importance of this topic, multicultural literacy. Students, kindly note that you all can unmute your mic and ask the questions, or you all can use the chat box.
Yes, I'm waiting eagerly for this.
Students, please don't miss this opportunity. We have a wonderful speaker today, so you ought to ask questions in such a beautiful topic.
Okay, anything from my slides, something that you didn't follow? Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question. Actually, this question would be on behalf of the students. Ma'am,
Yeah.
yeah, before COVID, we had Afghanistan students coming over here and they were studying along with the students. So there was, I could see as a teacher, I could see that there was some kind of a gap between them, a communication gap, as to say. So, how would you advise them to accept them into their classrooms, accept them as their friends?
Um, this is for the Afghanistans or for the Indians, us?
Both the ways, ma'am, actually.
Okay, okay. Now see what happens now. There is a cultural barrier over here. The Afghani students or any other race student, no, they feel non-acceptance. They feel a sense of rejection, and very often, even they don't. They have the language is a barrier. They are speaking broken English. Okay, some of them, and so they feel more comfortable forming ghettos. And Indians, the Goan students and the others over here, they are suspicious of them. Okay, they don't realize, and sometimes it is entertainment to make fun of somebody, not accept them, that kind of a thing. So one is, I would advise the foreign students not to form ghettos, to mix up with these people. Okay, and for the Indians, to kind of show more openness and acceptance, be more culturally sensitive to their needs and so forth. Like very often, even we had Afghan students, not anymore now. I used to tell them that it's so difficult for them. Their country is cold, okay, and they are coming here. The dress, the behavior, the language, then even the food that they have been eating there and here managing to cook by themselves or taking parcels and eating out, it must be so difficult to adapt. So we had sometimes some students who were very nice and would invite them over and so forth, like so kind of it was a good team, like it was more interactive. And then they realized that they are also not subhumans, they are also like us. So see, there is prejudice, prejudgment is there, and that leads to stereotypes. So we have to overcome that. And for them also not to remain in that ghettos, they feel comfortable among their own, so they do like that. Okay, yes, anybody else?
Yes, if you have any more questions, please ask, students. Please ask. Thank you, ma'am, for answering my question.
Yeah.
Okay, Vaishnavi can continue.
Students in the chat box also, I didn't see anything. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, they haven't sent anything. Requesting Vaishnavi to continue.
Students, kindly note your attendance will be recorded in the filling of the feedback form. The link of the same is provided in the chat box. I now request Mr. Vignesh Naik to propose the vote of thanks.
I, Mr. Vignesh Naik, on behalf of VVM Shree Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, extend most sincere thanks to our resource person, Dr. Sonal Thakkar, for conducting such an informative and a fruitful session on a unique topic, multicultural literacy. This session made me look in a different lens at the beauty of our multifaceted motherland, also helped me understand that a peaceful existence of people of different ethnicity and culture will make this world a beautiful place to live in. I would like to extend our immense gratitude to our respected Principal, Professor Dr. Preeta Mallya, and Vice Principal, Dr. Rodney De Silva, for extending their constant support and encouragement in conduct of this session. I must also thank the coordinators of this session, Ma'am Samiksha Vegulekar and Ma'am Marzina Sheikh, for having conducted such a productive session. This session won't have been successful without the technical support provided by our technical staff. So, a big thank you to them. I must also thank the host for today's session, Ms. Vaishnavi Vednekar, for a smooth sail of this session. A heartily thank you goes to all the participants for attending today's session. Thank you one and all, and have a good day.
Thank you, Vignesh. Once again, thank you everyone to attend this session. Have a nice day ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for agreeing for this session and having conducted such a beautiful session on a beautiful topic. Actually, yes, since you had told me that this is something new, but I feel nobody else would have done justice to the topic than you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Samiksha and Margina. I don't think your principal is here. And all the students, yes, my contact number is with Samiksha ma'am. You all can keep in touch, okay, even my email ID. Yes, and somebody has said, Muhammad, 1 minute. Somewhere girls from college want to come with burqas. Is it right or wrong? No, it is right. We have to accept that somebody is comfortable wearing a particular dress, either like it is their religion which is telling them, or they are comfortable. Like very often you will have girls saying, I want to wear only trousers. Okay, so that is also fine. I think we have to live and we have to let live others. Okay, Muhammad, I hope I answered you. Yeah,
Mohammed, you can turn on your mic and please thank the resource person. Turn on your mic, Mohammed.
Thank you, teacher.
Yes, Muhammad.
Thank you, ma'am.
I want to see who you are. Come to MES College. Yes.
We will surely try to send them for some
Yeah, you are
activity.
feeling very shy, Muhammad and all.
Mohammed, please show your face. Come on.
Yeah, I would like to see everyone, but then this is the trend everywhere. Yes, Muhammad. Then there is Sia, there is Vignesh. Yeah.
Yeah, I would request all the students to turn on their turn on their cameras, please. Students, please
Yes,
turn on your
yes.
cameras.
Love to see you. Love to see you.
Even the teachers are turning it on, so please turn your cameras on.
Yeah, yeah. Lovely
Still waiting.
coordination, Samiksha and everyone. Yes, yes. I'll just put this off. So yeah. Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. It's the first time I'm talking to BCom students. Generally, it was the BA students. I'm so happy to see all of you. And do come to our college when we have our annual event, Socio Expressions. I will send the brochure to Samiksha ma'am and to Margina. Okay, yes. Do keep in
Yes,
touch.
ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll be waiting for it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye, ma'am.
Bye,
Samiksha,
ma'am.
for
Thank
giving me
you.
the opportunity. Yes, bye, Margina. Bye.
Okay, participants, before you leave, please fill up the feedback form and then you can leave the meeting. Wait till the resource person leaves. Don't leave before that.
Yeah, yeah. Let them fill, Samiksha. I too will
Yes,
exit.
ma'am.
Bye,
Yes,
Margina,
ma'am.
Samiksha, and all the
Thank
students.
you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
It
Bye.
was my pleasure to have you over here today, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm glad. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, ma'am.